Coming up on Hoosier Sports Nite, the Indiana men's soccer team is heading to the city of brotherly love as they earn a spot for this weekend's College Cup in Philadelphia.
And major changes are coming to the IU volleyball program as they begin the search for a new head coach. This is Hoosier Sports Nite. Hello and welcome to the season finale of Hoosier Sports Nite. I'm Austin Matricardi.
And I'm Michael Tilka. And Austin, it's a great time to have a combination of Philadelphia and sports. Carson Wentz having an MVP season. The process is being trusted in Philadelphia. But I heard there's something else going on in Philadelphia. What is it?
You know what? I think there is something going on in Philadelphia. I think that the Hoosier soccer team is getting ready to travel there.
Ah, that's right. The Indiana men's soccer team has enjoyed a very successful run in the NCAA tournament. And their run is not over yet as they have qualified for the College Cup in Philadelphia.
Our soccer reporters Juan Alvarado and Ghirardelli give us the story of how they got there.
1 second, 1 moment, 1 shot is what kept IU men's soccer from getting the Big Ten tournament trophy against Wisconsin on November 12th. However, the Hoosiers have come far since then and have a new reason to smile and forget about that gloomy day in Westfield, Indiana. Today, IU is in the College Cup. And here is a recount of the Cream and Crimson path to get so far into the NCAA tournament.
Coming into the postseason, there's that extra excitement, extra buzz around the team, knowing that it's an elimination game. You get one shot at it, you move on to the next one, or you're done. So there's definitely more focus and excitement.
The senior captain led the way for the Hoosiers in their first-round game against Old Dominion. Lillard opened the scoring in the 36th minute off of a corner kick. Later, it would be freshman Mason Toy with his team-high 10th goal of the season. Midfielder Austin Poncho capped things off with a third and final goal to send IU to the next round. Indiana got off to a fast start in the Sweet 16 against New Hampshire. A header by junior Corey Thomas in the 10th minute gave the Hoosiers an early 1-0 lead. In the second half, Francesco Moore doubled the Hoosier lead from the penalty spot. New Hampshire would go on to answer in the 76th, but IU would hold on and advance with a 2-1 victory. Todd Yeagley's group then hosted Michigan State in the quarterfinals, making it the first Elite Eight home game for Indiana since 2004.
It's really its own season, the College Cup. I mean, we've talked about these different seasons, but getting to the College Cup is a monumental task, and one that then you kind of hit the reset button, okay, and now it's a very visible, I have this in front of me. But to have that opportunity to be with the fans at a game to go to the College Cup is one that is an unbelievable experience. I'm really excited that we have that.
And for its last matchup of the season at Bill Armstrong Stadium, IU had 5,450 fans on the stands supporting them. And after being down 1-0 at halftime, junior midfielder Trevor Swartz found the back of the net to tie the game in the second half. The score stayed the same throughout regular and extra time, and in the penalty shootout, freshman goalkeeper Trey Muse stopped 3 out of 5 Spartan penalties to send IU to its first College Cup since 2012. In the semifinals, IU will face number 3 North Carolina, who took down Fordham in the Elite Eight round. The matchup will take place at the Talent Energy Stadium in Philadelphia, and kickoff will be at 8:45 p.m. Reporting for IUS TV Sports, I'm Juan Alvarado.
And I'm Austin Ghirardelli.
After defeating Big Ten foe Michigan State on penalty kicks last weekend, the IU men's soccer team has turned their attention to Philadelphia, where they'll compete in collegiate soccer's Final Four, the College Cup. To preview the College Cup, our beat reporters join us in studio.
Thanks, Michael. With the College Cup coming up so soon, I've got IUS TV men's soccer beat reporters Juan Alvarado and Austin Ghirardelli with me to take a look at the Hoosiers' chances in Philly. So, Juan, with this big event coming up, how do the Hoosiers stack up against North Carolina, who they'll be taking on in the semifinals?
Well, I think the Hoosiers are in the most interesting, the most fun to watch semifinal out of the two. We have number 2 versus number 3, two really strong teams, but I think it's up on IU's hands, the outcome of the matchup. They have a really strong defense, and now it's up to them to capitalize up in front to secure their spot in the final of the College Cup.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good matchup for Indiana. North Carolina is going to be one of the better, if not best team IU's seen all season coming from the ACC. This is sort of a team that IU really hasn't dealt with, and North Carolina scores the ball really well. They scored the same amount of goals as IU in the previous 3 games to get here. Each scored 2 and gave up, or each scored 6 and gave up 2. But the biggest thing for Indiana is they're going to have to come out early. Carolina hasn't struck in the first half yet in the NCAA tournament, so if Indiana can get ahead early, that's really going to be the key.
And if the Hoosiers take out the Tar Heels on Friday night, they'll take on either Akron or Stanford. How do those teams stack up against Indiana?
Stanford is really strong. They still haven't received a goal in the College Cup, in the NCAA tournament for that matter. And Akron as well, the number 5 ranked team in the tournament. They're both really good teams, but at this point, every team that you're going to face in a semifinal, or a final, or even a quarterfinal is going to be a really great team. So it's up to not only the team play of IU, individual play is going to play a major role as well in this stage of the tournament. And I think if those two work really well for IU is going to be the one lifting the trophy by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, Juan made a really good point. Stanford's a really good team, and they might be the best team in the tournament. They're coming off back-to-back national championships, winning it in 2015 and 16. But their streak actually continues through last year, and they have the NCAA record 10th shutout in the NCAA tournament. So they're a very good defensive team as well. So IU and Stanford 1 and 2 in most defensive statistics through the season is probably going to be a pretty good matchup if those two teams see each other.
Well, any team that makes it this far into the tournament obviously has really good players. So who are some of the players to watch in Philadelphia this weekend?
I'm going to do 2 players, one that everyone's talking about and the other one that doesn't get as much of a spotlight. My like important player would be Mason Toy, our striker, IU striker. He is a type of player that always wants to score, and he even said it last press conference inside of Assembly Hall. He was like, I always want to score. Sometimes it's bad because he like doesn't make profit out of like opportunities of passing the ball and letting another player score, but that ambition is good for a number 9, good for a striker. The number 9 has to be selfish sometimes in order to like accomplish great things. And my other player is number 13, central midfielder Francesco Moore. He's like the anchor. He knows where to pass, when to pass, and when not to pass. He's like the mind, body, and spirit of IU soccer. He's like a captain, a leader, and like when things go wrong, he's gonna be the first one to step up in front to back up his teammates. And when things go well, he's gonna be the last one to give credit to his teammates before himself.
Mm-hmm. And you went with Toy. I'll go with a forward here we haven't heard much from recently, and that's Griffin Dorsey, the freshman. He's very good, and the Big Ten was really good about scouting him and knowing what he was about before the Big Ten conference started. So North Carolina and these teams, Stanford and Akron, haven't really done as much scouting as thoroughly on Griffin Dorsey as most teams have, but he's probably the most talented player on IU's front line. And then if I had to go with the second one, I'll probably go with Spencer Glass. Spencer Glass came in and drew the PK in the Sweet 16 and also set up an assist in the first round. So that freshman.
Coach is talking a lot of good stuff about Spencer Glass as well.
Yeah, the subs are going to be really key for Indiana. We've seen quite a few subs in this postseason, and we really weren't used to that down the stretch of the season. Yeagley got with his sort of core 11, 12 and stayed with that. But sort of as this tournament's progressed since the Wisconsin loss, he sort of added more people, maybe 2 or 3 people, 4 people in a half substituting in and out. So that's going to come into play at some point as well.
Well, I just want to thank you guys for joining me here on Hoosier Sports Night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Hoosiers head to Philadelphia in search of a 9th national championship this weekend, with their semifinal matchup with North Carolina kicking off at 8:45 p.m. on Friday. You can catch the match on ESPNU. Back to you, Michael.
Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IUSTV Sports and like our Facebook page as Austin, Juan, and Austin follow the Hoosiers to Philadelphia for the College Cup. After dropping the latest of their 3-game losing streak to Auburn on Sunday, the women's basketball team had a quick turnaround on Tuesday when they took on the North Texas Mean Green. Our women's basketball reporter Austin Render has the story.
Indiana was riding a 3-game losing streak heading into this Tuesday night battle with North Texas. Indiana took a 41-28 lead to halftime, led by Tyra Buss's 18 first-half points. But in the second half, North Texas made a comeback, but the fourth quarter was led by Indiana's seniors Amanda Cahill, and Tyra Buss, including Tyra's jumper with 19 seconds to go to put Indiana up 4 and seal the 68-63 victory for Indiana.
I thought Bree came in, Breezy, and provided some really good minutes. Particularly on the defensive end, it was great to see her hit a layup and an open jump shot. After the Auburn game, Tyra was very disappointed, and so I thought tonight her mindset was exactly where it needed to be, and that was not only leading her team but also being aggressive and getting to the free throw line.
Just to stick together, and every play matters. And it came on the defensive end. We need to get stops, and I thought we did a good job of being positive whenever they made their run, and kind of just being able to score on the offensive end and then coming down and getting stops on defense.
With her 12 rebounds in Indiana's win, senior Amanda Cahill eclipsed the 900 career rebound mark, becoming the 5th Hoosier all-time to reach the milestone.
There's no Tyra if there's no B, really. They've been able to be a tremendous combination, duo for us in so many big games. And, tonight was no different. Just what she gives us from a leadership standpoint in a lot of our close games, in the huddle. And she's constantly giving her teammates good juice.
Indiana will start a lengthy road trip this weekend when they take on Northern Kentucky. Then they'll head off to Florida to take on Missouri and Virginia and cap off the road trip with Yale. They'll be back here at home in Simon Scott Assembly Hall on the 28th of December to take on Michigan State. Reporting for IUS TV, I'm Austin Render.
The men's basketball team hosted Iowa earlier this week, looking for the first Big Ten win of the Archie Miller era. Basketball beat reporter Zan Piarli has the story.
Basketball is often a game of runs, and that proved to be the case Monday night. Indiana ended the first half on a 21-5 run against Iowa, but then the Hawkeyes opened up the second half on a 16-2 run of their own, making it a one-point game.
I think coming out at halftime is a mindset. It's you don't have a lot of physical time to prepare, change much. You just can change your mentality. So I think that's the biggest thing that we had that little lull there, and we came in and changed our mindset after the timeout and got it back rolling.
However, the Hoosiers would regroup and make 9 straight field goals, going on an 18-0 run in the second half to pull away and get their first Big Ten win, 77-64.
I think we were able to regroup defensively, and then our defense to offense was pretty good in this game. I think you saw a much faster playing team than we were on Saturday. And again, I think the skill level that was out there with Juan and Colin really spaces the floor, so we were able to get some really good unselfish plays, unselfish passing, and that team got going in transition.
Colin Hartman was key in the win tonight, finishing with a plus-minus of 29, but also junior forward Juwan Morgan racked up his second double-double in 6 games with a 15-point, 10-rebound effort.
Not so much as forcing, trying to create things off the dribble or anything, but it's just getting other teammates open, and if they're getting open looks, although I know they think it's going in, I always think it's a miss, and just getting on the glass, things like that, create all the opportunities for me.
Big Ten play started a little bit earlier this year as Indiana went to Michigan on Saturday and now home against Iowa tonight. But for Archie Miller, he likes the challenge.
I think it's great. I mean, playing a Big Ten game here early, you get tested. You're on the road and you're at home. It's kind of one of those deals where you got to have that bounce back mentality. It's tough to do, but I like it. I think it's going to be great for our league as we continue to push forward with 20 games.
Indiana will now take a break in conference play, but their schedule won't get any easier as they play at Louisville on Saturday. For IUS TV Sports, I'm Zan Piarli.
The Hoosiers travel to the Yum Center on Saturday to take on the Louisville Cardinals. Make sure to follow along on Twitter at IUSTV Sports, as beat reporter Jordan Burrows will have all the updates.
Sticking with basketball, big news coming from the men's team. Sophomore guard Curtis Jones has left the team and will transfer at the end of the semester. The 6'4" guard contributed to IU basketball last year, especially his play against Kansas, where he put up 15 points. But this year, his play has been limited. Jones said he is grateful to have had the opportunity to be a part of the IU basketball program and is looking forward to achieving success with another team. With the departure of Jones, Indiana has 2 available scholarships to use for next season.
The Indiana wrestling team capped off their non-conference dual season this past Sunday, and Michael was there to catch the action.
The IU wrestling team capped off their non-conference dual schedule today as they faced off against the Northern Illinois Huskies, the SIU Edwardsville Cougars, and the Cleveland State Vikings. Up first for the Indiana Hoosiers were the Huskies out of Northern Illinois. To start off the duel, NIU forfeited the match at 125 pounds and set a precedent for the following 9 matches as Indiana would outscore the Huskies 27-6. The Hoosiers would go on to win their first duel of the day by a score of 33-6. Next, Indiana would face the south side of the state when facing the SIU Edwardsville Cougars. This time, the Hoosiers would set the precedent by starting the match with a trio of bonus point victories that featured a major decision by Elijah Oliver at 125, a 3-minute 55-second tech fall by Garrett Pebble at 133, and a 4-minute 12-second pin by nationally ranked Cole Weaver at 141. IU was able to tame the Cougars by a final score of Indiana 40, SIU Edwardsville 6. To end the day of wrestling, IU would face off against the Cleveland State Vikings to try and go 3-0 on the day. The highlight of the match came at 174 pounds as Devin Skatska would follow up a previous pin and win by forfeit earlier in the day with a second pin at 3 minutes and 32 seconds.
That's always kind of my goal every match, is to go out there and pin the guy as fast as I can, and just happened to happen that way today.
IU finished off the Vikings in a 37-7 victory to go 3-0 on the day and improve to a 6-1 duel record on the season.
We wrestled well today. It was good to get all of our guys back in our lineup. We had, for the most part, everybody back in all the way through. And, I think that, brings a little confidence to each guy on the team. And, I think it showed a little bit today on the mat.
Up next, Indiana will start conference play at noon on Sunday, December 10th, when they travel to Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio to face off against the number 2 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes.
The Indiana volleyball team is now looking for a new head coach. Sherry Dunbar-Cruzan will not be returning for her 12th season as head coach. In a statement released by IU Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Fred Glass, said, quote, "We thank Sherry for her many positive contributions to Indiana University. She has been committed to her students and dedicated to the community, and we wish her well in all of her future endeavors." Dunbar-Cruzan finished her 11th season 12-20 overall and 1-19 in Big Ten play. She was 275 and 217 for her head coaching career. The search for a new head coach will begin immediately. Assistant coach Paul Conser will serve as interim head coach until a permanent replacement is found. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at IUSTV Sports, where we will have the news on the new hire as soon as it breaks.
Club sports are a great way for students to get involved while also playing the game they love. Recently, IU has added a new club team that all Hoosiers can get excited about.
When most people think of Indiana University, they think of the rich history of basketball and maybe even the legacy of Bob Knight. Though the varsity basketball team, led by new head coach Archie Miller, is a huge attraction to the university, students who weren't recruited to play now have the chance to compete on a club team at the historical basketball university they attend.
So we started in January. We came together. We were wondering why there wasn't a club basketball team yet at IU. Turns out there was one a couple years ago. It kind of collapsed on itself, so we took the opportunity to make a new club basketball team. We're currently in relations with the Club Sports Federation to further sustain the club for the future, and the future looks bright.
Through the National Club Basketball Association, teams are placed into different conferences determining who they will play throughout the season. In the Mid-American East Conference, IU will play Butler, Indiana State, Indiana Tech, and Purdue.
There's a few teams in our division. I'm pretty sure it's Indiana Tech's first year too. I'm pretty confident we can do well. We got some good players out there. They say Purdue's good, but I think we can beat them. I don't see why not. We got a great talent pool here. It's IU. It's a basketball school, all that.
So we were actually facing a lot of stiff competition. Actually, Purdue was the national champions last year. I've been talking a little bit of smack on Twitter and whatnot, but really looking forward to that game. Have a really tough schedule, but really excited for really getting on the floor and getting out with the guys.
With the Hoosier season beginning January 20th, the team's tryout process is concluding and the 15-player traveling roster begins to prepare for the season.
We're going to try, once we make the final 15, we're still going to have guys like come to practice, be part of the club so that they can get ready for next year, because there's some seniors out there, so there's going to be spots open next year.
We're going to make sure that each person has a role on the team, and that the best 15 are out there competing with the teams in the league this January.
Though the team may not get to play in Assembly Hall, they will have home games at either the SRSC or the Hyper. To stay updated on games or next year's trial information, you can follow the team on social media.
We have a Twitter, which is at @IU_bball, BBALL_club. And then we have an Instagram that is at IU Club Basketball, all lowercase.
For IUS TV Sports, I'm Kinsey Browning.
That does it for this season of Hoosier Sports Night, but IU athletics never stops. So make sure to like the IUS TV Sports Facebook page and follow us on Twitter at IUS TV Sports. For Michael Tilka, I'm Austin Matricardi. We'll see you next semester.